We spoke about the ethics, and before that, we spoke about the teacher and the student and how it's going to be. And then he talks about Ubbantaka Kappika, means that whatever happened in the past, Kappika means imagine, Ubba means earlier, previous. So whatever has happened in the past. Okay? So people start talking about that. Atti bikave anyeva dhamma gambhira duddasa duranubodha santa panita atakkavachara nipuna pandita vedaniya ye tatagato tayam abhinyaya sachikatva pavedati yehi tatagatasya yata buccham vannam samma padamana vadeyum. So apart from the ethics, what people are talking about, I will tell you something which is really good, is profound, which is deep, hard to see, peaceful, sublime, beyond the scope of logic, subtle, all that. So this is spoken by the realized one after knowing it for himself. That's what he says. So Dhamma means natural law. Okay? And says Anyeva Dhamma, not Dhamma, Dhamma. Whenever that Dhamma is there, one should know that it is about phenomena, in English, principle, objects, nature, whatever you want to put, because there's very abstract. Okay. What's the meaning of abstract is that you can't really define this is the one and that is the one. You have to just make it under an umbrella that, okay, all of these. So generally, they call it as principle of phenomena. In many books, put phenomena. Now let's understand what is this Dhamma signify. Now this body is Dhamma. Simple. Why? It has nature. What nature? It has a solidity as a nature, it has liquidity as a nature, it has gaseous as a nature, it has the heat element as a nature, and it occupies space. Isn't it true? So the consciousness has made a house, and that's it. But the remaining five of them are not in control of the consciousness. They do what they want. You can't change them. I mean, if somebody were to say, I would like to make the bone something else, I don't think so. You can do it. Bone is a bone. It's made out of stone. Simple. So, this kind of looking at is the thing which is okasa. Now, this thing, how it has come to be. How did bone happen? Bone happened in the bone marrow. Okay. How did the bone marrow happen? There are causes for the bone marrow to happen. So, everything has a cause. And everything has a condition to be met. What if the cells starts to reproduce much faster than what is expected, turns into cancer, called as bone cancer, because it is multiplying much more than what it should be multiplying. Now, is there anything consciousness can do about this? It has to just be a witness, and it pains. and it has to take the pain. But just because it is taking a pain, these cells wouldn't feel apologetic. Oh my God, I'm giving such a pain to the consciousness. They just keep doing what they are doing. And that cell also has consciousness. Basically, if you see, each cell has Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, all the four elements, and it occupies space. So, where is you? There's no you. So, Gambhira means very serious, really seriously see it. I'm telling you, there are these things which people talk morality, and I'm doing this morality, that morality. They really don't understand what I speak. This is a layman's morality. Some stupid guy going on a street and not knowing what to do, I say, hey, listen, don't do these following. And he thinks that's the only thing I speak. And he thinks that's all what it is. And they talk so low that shouldn't have sexual intercourse. Which idiot asked you to do in the first place? Did I tell you? No. Did I ask you to steal? No. Did I ask you to commit killing? No. Did I ask you to tell lies? Did I ask you to slander? Did I ask you to tell stories and this and that? No. But that I'm asking you to do because you have no idea what to do. And since you don't have any idea, I have to tell you what to do. But that's not my dhamma. That's not my teaching. That's something what is an elementary person should know. So if you are unethical, first learn the ethics. And now I'll teach you something which is profound. And hence he uses these words. He uses Anneva Dhamma, Gambira, Duddasa, Duranubodha, Santa, Panita, Attaka Vachara, Nipuna, Pandita, Vedaniya, Ye Tathagato, Sayam Abhinyaya Satchikatva, Pavedeti, Yehi Tathagatasya Yata Pucham Vannam Samma Vadamana Vadeyum. So if anything that has to be told, that this is the teaching of the Buddha, of this is the one I'm talking about. Not about, I don't do this, don't do that, you shouldn't be, you should look at while crossing the road, stop at the, stop signal, and then keep watching on the left and the right, and then if nobody is crossing the road, please cross, otherwise don't cross. When you're going to the office, ensure that you follow ethics and standards, and then don't steal anything or do anything, don't copy your own personal things, etc. Stupid. That's not Buddha Dhamma. So what he says, the smaller, the middle, and the large ethics are not mine teaching. Because it's expected that you know this. So presently we're discussing about, should we have brahmacharya? Should we not have sex? Should we not have this? So low, crude, and should I buy this product? Should I not buy this product? So crude. What he's saying is, listen to this. Katame che bhikkhave dhamma gambhira duddasa duranubodha tanta panita attaka vachara nipuna pandita vedaniya ye tathagato sayam abhinyaya satchikatva avedeti yehi tathagatasya yatha bucham annam samma vadami vadamana vadeyum santi bhikkhave eke samana brahmana ubba Pubbantaka Kappika Pubbantaka Anudhittino Pubbantam Arabha Aneka Vihitani Adi Mutti Padani Abhivadanti Attara Sahi Pattuhi. So there are some Samana and Brahmana. Pubba Antaka Kappika. Kappa, Kalpa, a period, time lapse. So there are some Samana and Brahmana. Samana is the one who is putting effort to find the truth. Brahmana is a person of two categories, one by birth and one on the Arya Magga. They theorize of what? On 18 grounds. Attharasa. In Hindi also Atthara means 18. Attharasa, 18 of them. What are these 18 of them? On which they establish that this is the only truth and everything else is false. Which are these 18 grounds? Te cha bhonto samana brahmana ima gamma kimarabha pubbantaka kappika pubbanta anudhittino pubbantam arabha aneka vihitani adi mutti padani abhivadanti attharasahi pattuhi. Which are these 18 which they talk that there's something like this in the past? The first one is Sasattavada. Now, we need to understand it in a much broader scale. What is Sa and Satta and Vada? Vada means view, a doctrine, basically. View is in Sanskrit, it's called Darshana. English, you can make it as a view or a doctrine of what? Sa, Satta. Sa is self. And Satta means a being. There's something there, being. As a living being, there's one thing which is going to live forever. Why? Because consciousness is eternal. And it's true. Vinyananchayatara, eternal, ananta, and unending. So they get into the view that self has something which is satta, and hence it stands eternal. It becomes an observer for everything that's happening in this life, past life, the past life, in the past life, in the past life, in the past life, in the past life, like that, so many eons. I can see. Now, if somebody were to ask me, have you seen your past life? I can say, I have seen one and a half, one full and another half. I can say, yes, I can see. I can see who I was in my past life. I can also see the person in this life, what is he? What's the point? I'm able to see both. I have a friend who was my friend in my past life. And I know that this person I met because of our promise. And we are friends. Even though we have no professional connection, but we have personal connection to a very great extent. And I know he's my friend, and he also knows that it is true. How does he know he's true? He has not seen even his one of his past life. He knows because when I speak to him, he feels it that he knows me. And there are instances which I have given to him that how we were practicing, how we were dressing, and he feels like that even today. So we don't have any professional relationship, even though we ways to start on a professional relationship. Okay. Now, it so happened his son died. So they didn't know where to go. And I couldn't stand his suffering. I went to meet him and I made both him and his wife and his parents take the loss of their beloved son, was just 22 year old. So then our friendship even more became strong because of this unfortunate incident that his son died. Now, they were asking me, why us? What have we done? So then also I was a teacher. Now also I'm a teacher. Then he was a monk, he was a lama, and I was also a lama. But now he is also a householder, and I'm also in household. It's very funny. He had not married, I had not married, but he is married, and I'm also married. But we both are divorced, meaning we have wife and son and everything, but we really don't really have. And he's also is the same. It's very interesting. But then that gives you an eternistic view that I existed then. It's true. Then another past life, now it is 1,300 years back. So I know the family in which I was born. I know my parents. I know the school where I was studying. I know what I had become. I knew 94 psychic powers. That also I remember out of 108. So the teacher failed me in not showing all 108. Okay. And I was walking down in a kingdom, and there they were saying, this person is coming. If anybody wants to give a girl to him, can give so. Because now he can take on a family life. So then I had two children in that life. Now, doesn't that give me a big fan? That means 1,300 years back, I was alive, having a family, and I was also a teacher. Now, this happened, this one, what I'm talking about, the Tibet thing is somewhere in the 1600s, which means 400 years back story. So from 1,300 years to 1,000, 400 years means 600 years gone. Sorry, 700 years gone. And then I'm now back here. In all the three cases, I was a teacher. So doesn't it give me an idealistic view? Sa Sattavada. It does. Because I'm able to see I was there. I was there, and my friend was there, and I know my friend, all of that. Correct? That there. What Buddha says here is Ida bhikkave ekecho samano va brahmano va atappa manvaya padhana manvaya anuyoga manvaya appamada manvaya tamma manasikara manvaya tatarupam cheto samadam pustati yatha samite chitte aneka vihitam puppanivasam anusarati. So they can remember all of this. I know my one life, two life, three life, 10 life, 100 on going. How did he get it? The consciousness knows it. Simple. And this consciousness becomes eternal. That becomes eternalistic view because I can see, if I could see one and a half life and I feel so happy, look at those people who knows thousands of lives. They can go back and forth, go back and forth, go back and forth and say, like when I'm saying, when I was like this, Chitta goes back. And when I said I had two children, it goes back. I've seen my wife, so it goes back. I've seen my parent, it goes back. Isn't it amazing? So this we can see. Even now, when I talk about my friend, it goes back to the place where we both met and to the place when he has a family. It's 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 happening. Sasatto atta cha loko cha banjo utthato isi ghattha ittha itthito. Like a isi, this one, kattha means wooden, ittha table, stood, ito there. So it looks like a wooden pillar. ते च सत्ता संधावन्ति संसरन्ति चवन्ति उपपज्यन्ति अत्थि त्वेव स सति समम. Because I can see this pole was there. So I came back. Now I still see the same pole. And I have again come back. I see the same pole. Again come back. Again I see the same pole. Again I come back. Again same pole. Again I come back. Again I see the pole existed forever. This is the first ground. Why? Because I was able to see with all the features, all the things, all the my birth, how I was able to see. And hence it's eternal. Imina hame imina maham etam jana. Because I have known it myself. So if you put a pillar, just like you put a pillar called San Francisco, every time you fly anywhere, you're going to come back to San Francisco. If somebody were to say San Francisco is moved, they got gone mad or so. I just now left from San Francisco International Airport and I've come back to San Francisco International Airport. How can it go away? It's stable, it's fixed. So I leave India, I come to San Francisco. And then if somebody says India is gone, I said, stupid. It's like that. So when I fly back to Bangalore, in the Bangalore stood as it is, firm to the ground, and the answer is yes. So we can see the eternalistic view even at this point in time that it is stable, it is fixed, it's there. Does anybody feel The earth is turning around? No. In that case, there is no thing called as Bangalore or United States or whatever. Why? As it turns, it's gone. Right? But we don't feel it. When I wake up, my bedroom is the where it was. It didn't move an inch. My house didn't move, right? If I take my car and go somewhere and then I come back to the same place, or do I go back to another place? I come back to the same place. Isn't that eternal? Yes. Right? That's how we need. We all have eternalistic view. We all. Why? Because it doesn't change. You have grown in a particular place and you remember that place and you are still there in that place. The place has some changes, but the place has not changed, right? The buildings have changed, and something has changed, the tree has grown, something has happened, but the place has remained firm. Did the place change? The latitude and longitude are the same. It doesn't matter from where you are seeing it. You go by the coordinate. Coordinates have not changed. It stays the same. So isn't that you know it for yourself? Yes, I know it for you myself. So if I leave home and go to the office, I know my family is here. They're eternal. Unless somebody gives me a call, your wife is dead. I say, oh my God, why, how, who, what happened? All that. Otherwise, it's the same. So each one having our own children, each one having our own wives, husband, etc. They exist. So we don't worry about them because we know they are there. When you come back home, you can see them. When you leave the house, you don't worry that your wife or husband will run away, your children will run away. They'll come back to the same house. So we have a house which is firm. Go out and we come back to the house. Then we go out, come back to the and that gives us an eternal view. And what's the second ground? Now, this second ground is not just seeing some lives, thousand lives, he sees an eon. It's a huge one. See, one compared to the one who is seen thousands of lives, compared to him, my experience is nothing, trivial, only one and a half. Because I don't know how did I die. I don't know how did my friend die. I only know we were in a monastery in Katse place, also I know, in Tibet. And he says to me, Vilas, you sit here, I will go and bring some food. And he's gone of the snow blizzard. And I have no idea where he went. I go in search of him. I don't find him. After that, I see only two yaks coming back. And that's all I remember that life. Did I get killed by the yak or did I just die out of hunger and cold? I don't know. But I couldn't see my friend. He didn't come back. So there's a huge monastery in Katse, which is now totally changed what it used to be. So we had two teachers and many students being there. So I remember all the Tibetan life I had encountered. So how did I get confirmation that I am from that place? Is another. story, another proof. So there was this Dubai princess who had come here. So we made a tour for her. So then there's a doctor. So we are staying at 16,000 feet and everybody were having altitude sickness. So we were, me and my partner or this friend of mine, we were just going around and doctor called saying that, come here, you don't seem to be a localite. You're from down place. You're not from this place. So my friend interfered and said that, no, no, his face looks like a normal Indian, but he's not. He's like us. Said, no, no, we had to test him. So then they put an oximeter. Remaining people were getting around 47, 48, 55, 58, like that, with and also had to supply oxygen. But I was not having any kind of issue. Then they put on first time, came 77. Said, wait, I think there's something wrong. We put it again. It went to 82. And then she said, are you, is it really true that you're not from South India? I said, oximeter is showing that, right? I have no problem. 16,000 feet and oxygen level is so high. I don't know. Check again. Came to 87. So she said that, okay, I agree with your friend. He is a localite. And across Leh, people know me as a local person. So when I land in Leh and from CRPF, that is the police force, to everyone I know there. So they have a very good, we have a very good relationship even in the monastery. So when I go there, I have a nice place and all of that. It's funny that how do they know me or how I know them? A very funny incident. And second incident. So I had taken a lot of my friends to Ladakh. So we went to a place called a Dixit monastery. I always go for the monastery. I don't really like to see any other place. Then I went there, wanted to sit, and my friend was explaining he knows a lot of Buddha teaching. He knows Vajrayana. This Lama looked at me like this. Told my friend in Ladakhi Tibetan. But by the way, I also understand little bit of Tibetan. So he said he's a Lama. So my friend was really happy. So what you say is, this Lama also says. He said, I'm telling you, we both are Lama. So you better listen to what I say. So then he made one place for me, saying that you don't have to sit with those visitors. Your place is here. I sat and enjoying it. Another one. The same thing happened in Bhutan, where I met Burmese monks, Burmese bhikkhuni, basically. I was the only person there. The bhikkhunis were there. So we started talking. And I don't know what made them feel that they had to show me the entire Tiger Nest monastery. Normally, they don't show to anyone. So I had entire monastery, meaning each place, caves, this, that, all the places. So I know for sure I'm from Tibet place or Vajrayana. So that tallies with how I started with Vajrayana from 2000. That's a connection. And why I liked Dalai Lama, because I was influenced by 13th Dalai Lama. Oh, sorry, 12th Dalai Lama, not 13th. Now we have 14th Dalai Lama. So I remember the 12th Dalai Lama. Now we are in 14th Dalai Lama, like that. So isn't it making me happy? If yes, then it is Sasattavada. Because that self has seen it. So the second one is one eon. The third one is 10 eons. The next one is 40 eons. So third one is 10 eons of. See now what he's saying. One eon of expanding and contracting. That means he has seen the entire thing. Entire thing. That is from Big Bang to this and again gone in both. Then somebody has seen 10 eons, 10 times expanding contract. I have not seen an eon and contract. Only seen one life or one and a half life. So these are the four grounds on which person takes to be eternal. Now, when somebody has seen the 10 eons and eternal is out of scope, he can knows that the consciousness is eternal. The satta. So the self is eternal. Tasatto atta cha loko cha vanjo kuttato isi khattaya ito. Means it is firm, no change. Whether this body or that body doesn't matter. It stays. Any questions? These four grounds.
How to interpret this into our practice because it's a too vast to understand. It's a
In your practice, first we need to see that there is eternalistic because they see it. Now we go to the other extreme later, where they don't feel that there is nothing. They go to the other extreme, see all the extremes and see what does the Buddha say and take that, rather than disproving that there is no self, anatma, or making it as atma. And hence Buddha doesn't speak of atma and anatma. Both makes no sense. So anicca dukkha anatta, not anitya dukkha anatma. Because it becomes anatma, it means nothing exists. If it makes atma, it means it always exists. So satta can become asatta, but can't become atma. Because satta is what we call self, because in English there is no other word to explain it. For atta, there is nothing to explain. So, or give a word, an exact word, not there. So it becomes self. So, what should be our practice? Our practice should be to know that why it becomes eternal, not to deny that there is nothing called eternal. We need to know why it becomes eternal. First, we should know why. And that we can see that if there is something eternal, there should be something non eternal also. because it's poles apart. Always have two extreme cases. One will say there is eternal, one will say there is non eternal. So, how does Buddha solve it? He solves it by Paticca again. He says if this condition is there, then it is so as long as sankharas are there, both the existence is going to be there. Stop the sankhara, there is no existence. Now, who is doing the sankhara? The consciousness. If it stops doing sankhara, gone. So, in that way, you can see the consciousness end. So, Buddha is also accused of being a nihilist, an nihilistness. That means doesn't agree that there is something or some consciousness there. Buddha says, I am not nihilist. I am not talking about annihilation. I am talking about extinguishment, not consciousness gets extinguished. Parinibboti iti, meaning it gets extinguished. On what ground does it take? It takes the ground of Patvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. If you don't give opportunity for the consciousness to catch on to Patvi, Apo, Tejo, be it subtle or gross, it doesn't matter, then the consciousness ends or extinguished. Nibboti is, so there's no fuel. So what's the fuel? Avijja. What is avijja? Avijja is not knowing that there is a condition for existence. And what's that condition for existence? Asava. So the last one you are going to do asava kaya jnana. That means get the knowledge of ending of defilement. If the defilements are not there, there is no rebirth. That means there's no re-becoming into something. And that's how Buddha does. Since you asked this question, I wanted to give you a complete walkthrough. So first we need to understand that there is eternalistic. But they're seeing it. It's not they're imagining it. They are seeing it. They're seeing 10 eons. It's not small. Yep. Even if we were to see, we would come to this argument. Like I am seeing my past life and I can go back to my past life. So when I say I'm seeing my friend and we are in a monastery, I can see that monastery. Like it goes to that detail. If I say about Shigatse and then from Lhasa, we are supposed to be going towards Lhasa. So it makes me feel, and even from my childhood, anybody showing Lhasa or the the monastery in Lhasa, I used to feel that Potala Palace. If anybody shows me Potala Palace, I used to feel something happening in my body. Even from age 15, I used to feel, wow, the place I need to be. So I wanted to be in Potala Palace. And what is great about Potala Palace? It is the staying place for Dalai Lama. So we all, meaning even in Tibet or in Ladakh or in any of these places where they have Mahayana or Hirayana, they keep the Potala Palace. So when I went to the Dharmshala in Himachal, it was like, something I know it. I feel so connected. So if that is happening now, don't I get that eternalistic feel? You will get. And we are talking, these people are talking 10 eons, not just thousands of lives, 10 eons. Too much, right? And they can go back and forth. They can see all. As Buddha can see all, they can also see all. Buddha can see infinite, but these can see it finite. But 10 eons is not small.
Mm.
So isn't it that a consciousness is staying like this? Everything is seeing it, one gone, second gone, third gone, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, 10,000,000, 100,000,000, 1 billion, like that. No, it's how to be journalist. Yes, Bobby.
I think in when you talk about Christianity, maybe Jesus has seen one life previous to him, might be.
Exactly. So when you see life, you get an eternalist view. If you don't see any lives, then you get annihilationist view. You feel that's false. There is no person. There is nothing. These people are just fabricating. Yes, Harry.
Bobby can go first.
Yeah, Bobby, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, thinking that I've not seen any life, but I don't have this eternalistic or nihilistic view. I'm between.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that earlier in history, yeah, so I think Bobby is still making sound.
Wait for a second. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking nowadays, just like nowadays, most people have nihilistic views because now they're much more defiled. But back in time when consciousness was relatively pure, I think more people will have eternalistic view because more and more people would be able to see some past life, have some inclination, because in the sutta where the Buddha described the decay of human, I think the Chakravarti Sutta, right? He said how these beings get defiled, and only when their age come to 1,000 year, the wrong view of no loka, all that takes precedence. But back then, majority people will have the eternal view. Is that's why he started that.
Absolutely right. So, as like in the Chakravarti, as the wrong view starts attaching from killing, stealing, from sexual misconduct, lying, treachery, all of that, then comes to the Michaditi itself. And once it starts with Michaditi, everything is gotten. Meaning, now the conscious cannot go back to reflect upon many lives, see, because it loses track. Like somebody has lost track. No way you can go, except for believing whatever you're seeing. And yes,
I guess that's when people like Jesus can take root, because that require majority of people having this kind of wrong view for someone to say there's a God and like that.
exactly.
Like if more people have remembrance, they wouldn't be popular. Like wouldn't have been popular.
Exactly. So now on the look at the Abrahamic religion, both Islam and Christianity, they have to talk about God because God is eternal, right? So they become messengers. They're not God, but they're messengers. Then you have angels, and all of these talking and saying, and how a human should be, so that at least they go to the kingdom of God. That means Brahmaloka, you at least go near that, not inside. But in here, you're seeing all of them. In Eon, you would have seen everything, right? Right from the starting, from Abhasara realm to the realm where you are. And again back to Abhasara realm. Again back to where you are. Again Abhasara realm, back you are. Each Eon is like that, if you don't know it. At the end of the world cycle, what happens? All the beings go to the Abhasara. So at that time, there's no sex and there's nothing, there's no body, there's nothing like that. They're self feeding and slowly they come back. Yes, Bobby, go ahead.
Actually, the other day you were talking to saying that Jesus might be a anagami. So if he has strong this type of wrong view, michaditi, how he can become a anagami and make many people into this wrong view?
No, wait for a second. It's a very nice question. I don't think so. It should be taken for recording. We'll take it privately.
Maybe we'll talk it later then.
Yeah, because then it goes somewhere else.
Okay.
But definitely we will take it in private without this recording. Okay, but very good, intriguing question. Appreciate it. I was expecting it when we spoke about it. It's nice that you actually brought it. I would have asked how. Okay, now to just answer for the sake of it is that what's the quality of an anagami that he wouldn't have suffering in terms of hatredness or likings. You see Jesus, or if you read about Jesus, I'm sure that you have done it, is that even when they were putting the nail, the first nail, he was not sad, he was not worried, not pained. So if you look at the simile of the saw, Akuchopamasu, in that Buddha says that once you reach a stage and if somebody were to cut your hand, cut your legs, you wouldn't feel any ill will for that person doing it. So basically, that is one measure to say that what Anagami, forget about what faith he had or what wrong view he had on that, leave it, but at least he would go to Brahma realm, if not Anagami as Anagami, in terms of the, the Buddha explanation, or at least he would go there to the very fact that he did not have any kind of hate. Now, the second part, that did he have then liking? And that is again seen in his entire entire crucifixion, that he was either liking what was happening to someone like the Romans, they were having a lot of issues, and then not feeling any pain for what people him, only wishing that let God forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. That's a nice message, I feel. This real anagami from point of view of Buddha teaching or not, this much is sufficient to go to Brahma realm. Yes.
And I was earlier seeing the 10 commandment, and they're almost same as the 10 immoral deeds with give and take some difference. There's also talk about jealousy like that, and all the killing, stealing, all those and lying is same.
In fact, Bobby, in many places in the Bible, it exactly word by word matches with what Buddha is saying on the 10 immoral deeds, how you should look at living beings and what you should do and all of that. So basically, if Jesus had been doing that, it would be like that.
No, it is correct. It is like all these teachings, what Buddha is saying, it is there in Bible, but it is not very organized like what Buddha said. And
Exactly.
also, yeah, also it is here and there, and sometimes it contradicts so much. So,
Absolutely. I agree. I agree
yeah,
on that point.
yeah.
Especially Moses and all so many sections when it comes, there are a lot of contradictions between what was said earlier and what was said now. Earlier. But if you take the overall essence of the Bible, it talks about morality, it talks about how you should be with all living beings and how you should honor, how you should respect, you should know about nature. Yeah, Ashwin, see you. So, like that. So we can really see that lot of correlation between what Buddha says and Bible, but the much more Bible could say. But if you just take what happened with Jesus, why he became a Christ, that you will almost see similarity of an anagami, if not exact same as anagami, but comes very close.
See, the other day, what I was talking, maybe a little bit of clarification was, there. But even at the time of Buddha, people like Alara Kalam and Uddhakarama Buddha, they went to Brahma realms, I think.
Yes,
They
they
went,
did, they
yeah,
did, they did.
yeah, but they are not anywhere enlightened or anything, right? They are not enlightened or
No,
anything.
no, no,
Even
no. See,
not even a Sutapan.
no, no, no. Let us understand in a proper perspective. 31st realm of existence is infinite, not finite. Neva sanya na sanya, infinite. Because after that, there is ending. What is mean by infinite is you can't say that perception is going to come back. If there is no perception in the consciousness, there is no rebirth. What's the point? And so that means you can't say there is perception. You can't say there is no perception. That's the reason it's called Neva Sanya, Na Sanya Ayatana. Still Ayatana is there, but it is not in a state getting into perception. Nothing can be perceived. If nothing can be perceived, there is no rebirth. Because only when you perceive there is rebirth. You means that consciousness takes a form based upon the perception. The form is
So,
the four element. Yes.
so if there is no rebirth, then why Buddha was thinking about teaching them? They are finished, right? If there is no rebirth, that is everything is finished. No.
No, 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 no. That's the reason I want to give you this clarity for many people also. See, Bobby, you get to a stage when you know you are not alive, but yet alive. Take it that way. You know means what? The perception, the consciousness knows that there is no life beyond this, and yet it has defilement. Of what? Perception and feeling. The defilement. In fact, today somebody in our Hindi group has sent one sutta called Kantaka Sutta. In that, Buddha says one of the thorn is perception and feeling for the consciousness. So, Bobby, what would happen is you go to the eighth jhana, correctly practicing, you can stop as long as you want. But when the perception comes, it takes form. That's the only problem. And hence Buddha rejected the Karamaputta, saying that it doesn't end the defilement. I'm looking at ending of defilement. I'm not looking at suppressing the defilement. But the point. The first thing we need to practice is to get to the eight jhana ourselves and see what is eight jhana. Because in many sutta, Buddha says, first you do this, do all the eight jhanas. And when he says jhana, he says eight jhana, not the ninth one. Ninth one is how to do it, how to end it. But first you have to do 1 to 8 jhana. So all of us sitting here should be able to get the 4 rupa jhanas or arupa jhana. And then we will come to know what is this state called as neither perception nor non-perception. This, um, this sanya, neva sanya, na sanya ayatan. Otherwise, it will just become a discussion that, oh, Uddaka, useless fellow. No, to reach to Uddaka level is not a simple act. First, we should achieve that. Know it. Oh, we have come to the And then you can go one step further, as what Uddaka would do. Set a time, 5 days from today. I will not be there. Go. Stops. Yame, go ahead.
So someone, if they finish this life and they were reborn in that neither perception or non-perception, I guess once their karma in that life is finished, even though it'll be a very long time, they'll then be reborn with whatever, right? Because of their other past karma.
Absolutely.
So
So,
it's not ended.
as long as there is no perception, there's no rebirth. And hence, the ninth one is Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. Because if you don't remove the Sanya, perception, there would be rebirth. The problem with the eighth jhana is you don't know when the person is back. And that's a problem. But when perception is back, like what you rightly said, May, it's because of the ending of that karma, of that deed. He has made the consciousness stay. After a while, comes back. It takes the form. When it takes a form, it can take any form. It can even become a lizard the very next moment, let's say. Who is the lizard? The consciousness has taken the form of a lizard. So it will behave like a lizard instead of behaving like the eight jhana person. So what Buddha wanted to do is to cut that. If there is perception, there would be feeling. Yes, Bobby, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, actually, this was my question. If somebody reaches that places like infinite consciousness, where this neither, that doesn't mean that unless he is not an anagami or somebody who is enlightened, he can come back.
Yes, he will come back
Yeah.
to any realm. So what Buddha did is to perfectly put it in a proper way. First, you remove the doubt. If you remove the doubt, then you have achieved the first level. But now there is nothing to doubt. Because there is morality, there is samadhi. Because there is samadhi, there is wisdom. So sila, samadhi, panya. And that you have understood. So when you understand that, you have faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and you anyway not going to break the sila. So these four being there is no rebirth. That is when the consciousness departs from a human body. It doesn't latch on to any other lower realm. It latches on to the same realm, which is human realm. Forever. Means that defilement will not come in the consciousness which would take it to the lower realm. So it is disqualified in the lower realm and qualified in the higher realm. So it will either get established as a deva or it will get established as a manusa. This is what Buddha did by letting people know how to set it up so that the consciousness is set up. And the second time is you remove, even though your Sakkaya Ditti is gone, the self view of the body is gone, but you still have Kamachanda and Vyapada, which will bring you back to the same existence. So that means you are going to enter into a womb. Which womb? Human womb. Because in the Deva realm, there's no womb. But when you come back to the human realm, the womb exists. So what to do? Cut the womb. How do you get into the womb? By Kamachanda Vyapada. So cut the sexuality. Without sex, without an interest on sex, without looking as a female, without looking as a male, there is no way the consciousness can now take the womb. You cut. So you establish brahmacharya so that you don't come into the womb exist. So no womb. Great. Beauty. Because the sexual urge or the sexual interest is what caused the womb. So that's gone. So now I'm an anagami because I don't come to the womb existence. Whether the female is wearing clothes or not wearing clothes, it doesn't matter because there is no female in the first place. So where is the question of liking and disliking? That's gone. Then all objects are seen clearly. They are only Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. So there's no interest to possess anything. So Buddha made it very systematic on how you can yourself see that you are not interested in any sexuality and sensuality. Both are gone. Sensuality means as in the sight and the hearing and the taste, or hearing and smelling and tasting and touching any object. Sexuality means the fire within to enjoy that woman or the man. Both are not there. So now if someone were to remove they are bare chested or they have not have any clothes, you're seeing what? Nothing. There is absolutely no interest, no chanda. So when there's no chanda, it becomes no kama chanda. So vyapada will not be there. If kama chanda is there, vyapada is there. If kama chanda is not there, vyapada is not there. So Buddha did nice thing of removing kama chanda vyapada. Now when these 5 nivarnas, that is Visikicha, Hinamida to Udacha, Kukucha, and the Kamachanda and Vyapada or Abhijja Vyapada are gone. Udacha, Kukucha, and all of that taken together. Plus the Sanyojana. Again, here Visikicha, then Siravitta Paramasa, then Sakkaya Ditti, then Kamachanda Vyapada. These 5 lower fetters going. The womb is removed because there is no sexual relationship at all. You require to enter, meaning you need to watch couple mating. All of us have watched a couple mating and entered it to enjoy the same one. When it is our turn, you got the point. And I'm not joking. If you see in this room, there are so many living beings here. And when there is a sexual act, there are so many beings waiting. It's like you are doing a pornography. Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking because these paraloka, right? This in between loka can take very many years for being to get into a womb. But I think you were saying once that after several days they enter this state where consciousness is very vague. Right? So this watching will not be like us watching with full consciousness,
No.
but more like a traction, just like a bee smelling like some.
Yes, exactly. And another thing is that when the karma is setting, they can see their future parent. They can see this sexual act happening. So you see, Aryu, good question that did anybody teach us how to have sex? No. When the age comes, person automatically knows he need not be married, right? That interest to see one's own body and try to enjoy the body starts at an young age. It means the consciousness knows it. It's interested in it. So that interest is also gone. And hence anagami. And even in the Bible, it says about being a chastity, not having engaging in sexual relationship with nuns and this and that. So many rules are there. All of that is there. It basically corresponds to the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, lately I have a realization. I mean, okay, I was thinking we may not think we're interested in sex all the time, right? Because we don't walk around thinking we're interested in sex. But just to have an extra look at a female itself already is interested in sex, right? Because what to look, you're looking. What next? You want to get closer. And when you get closer, wouldn't you like talking? And when you get talking, wouldn't you want more time? Like it all leads to sex. So any kind of interest leads to sex eventually.
Exactly. See, the moment I see a woman, my eyes cannot stop rolling to see her body. Simple. If she were to say, "You look so nice," and she comes very near, sits next to me, and she starts touching me like this, or I start touching her like, the interest will multiply. And when the interest multiply, then if she says, I think I'm feeling slightly hot, can I remove this thing? Hope you don't mind. I would say, please, that's exactly what I want you to do. And I say, no, don't take trouble. No, it's okay. I can remove my upper cloth. And where the eye is going now. So it means sex has been there in my mind from the beginning. I'm just trying to cover it up. Mrityunjay, go ahead.
Sir, my question is in this line, when a person has attained anagami in this world and in this life itself, after his death is, I understand that it is going to Shuddhavasas,
Correct.
where there are 5 planes and there is no return from there.
Correct.
There is nothing like a Nevasanya, Asanya, Sattabram.
No,
He doesn't go to that.
no, he doesn't have to go to that.
Yes, he has to go to Shuddhavasa. From there, he will become Arahant, final.
Correct. Right.
So, in that case, when you are just telling regarding Jesus, if he as a person has become anagami in this life, that means he has gone to that Shuddhavasa.
No, what I'm saying is, it looks like that. I'm not too sure on that.
Okay.
If you see, he didn't have Kamachanda and Vyapada.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any other question from anyone? Okay, so yes, yeah, you.
Oh, I was having an earlier question because the fourth one was talking about people using logic and following inquiry and all that. So they come up to this view. Could you give a simple example of how they do that?
No, the logic here, let's say somebody has seen 10 eons.
Oh,
10 eons, unchanging, right? Now, can I not use that logic?
good.
And I
But the previous case, it already implies that. I mean, kind of.
yeah,
So
what he's trying to say is, what Buddha is trying to say is, if somebody says sees so many past lives, he will use the logic. He'll say that, look, you're saying is wrong because I am seeing it this way because I've seen it myself many lives.
that's why Buddha say don't rely on logic because the limitation of logic cannot be seen.
Exactly. And hard to see it, right? Gambhira means so deeper, or Gambhira means serious. You have to be a serious meditator to go to all the lives, which you will not be able to do it. So what Buddha says is that rely on me because I have seen it all. I've seen both the extremes. I will tell you how you can get rid of suffering rather than you also trying to see all the infinite lives and then it's not going to happen. So why waste your energy on that? Instead, see the dukkha and get rid of dukkha. That is more important than anything. Every rebirth is a dukkha anyway. Like that. Okay, so shall we end for today?